Hello, everyone. It is so exciting to be here with you today. My name is Aeriol Ascher, and you have managed to get yourself to the Awakend Leaders book talks. Every single Thursday in March, we are going live to promote our upcoming book, Awakend Leaders. And I think that you're going to want to lean in today and listen to some of our fabulous authors. Now, before I go ahead and introduce our authors one at a time, we've got Holly Chadwick, Anna Brooke, Julia Harriet. They're just all such fabulous and juicy authors. Each one is going to do a short 10-minute presentation, a little bit about their book, about their chapter in our book. But before I introduce them one at a time, what I would love to do at this time is to tell you a little bit about our project. Our project, Awakend Leaders, we have decided to all get together and compile this wonderful project. It's coming out April 20th, 2022, which is coming right up. And we are super excited. So what I'd love to do is read our book mission to you. The purpose of this group book project is to raise the consciousness of our planet by empowering as many people as possible. By stepping forward as awakened leaders, we offer hope, inspiration, and guidance to others as we evolve into a more enlightened way of being and a more purposeful way of living. By sharing our stories of self-healing, triumph, and transformation, we hope to empower others to live to their highest potential. It's our belief that by co-creating our project as a collective, we can reach and empower the most people, and in doing so, heal the planet itself. It's just such an honor to work with such wonderful authors, and today we have a wonderful program for you. Now, we're going to have a few minutes with each of these fabulous authors as we lean in. Remember, our book is going to launch on April 20th. And now that is a very important date because you are not going to be able to get this book anywhere. We have a secret no share clause. So you're going to have to watch in social media for us to give you the links and the directions to get your copy on April 20th, 2022. And we hope that we will be received with a bang. And to make it even more delicious for you to lean into our project, we are offering for just 24 hours on April 20th, we are offering the book for just $1.99 because we want it to be accessible to the most people. So hopefully you'll see something today and you'll want to lean into our book. Now, without further ado, I would love to introduce our authors to you. First up today, we're going to have the fabulous Julia Harriet. I'm going to put the rest of the ladies back to their room and introduce the fabulous Julia Harriet. Now, Julia is amazing. She is a best-selling author and she's up to all kinds of things. I felt so honored that she came on board of our Awakend Leaders project, and I'll let her divulge a little bit about her chapter and about her chapter title, but it's just so congruent with our mission and our purpose, and everything that Julia is up to is just so magical. I think everybody is going to want to be on the edge of their seats to hear what she has to say. Now, Julia, I'm going to butt out for just a little while here and give you center stage to tell us a little bit about why you decided to step forward in this project and what the audience can expect to lean into your chapter. Take it away, Julia.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Aeriol. Thank you all for being here. This is such an honor and a privilege. I mean, that's how I feel as I'm looking at really like the mission of Awakened Leaders. I'm like, oh, I feel so perfectly in alignment. And, in all honesty, it has not always been that way. It's been a journey for me, like many of us, both into finding my authentic voice and standing up into what is my purpose? What am I here to share with the world? And so confidently in doing so. What I love also about this project, Awaken Leaders, is that I connected with Aeriol while I was launching my book that came out last year called Under Construction: Healing Trauma While Building My Dream. And I was just launching out into the world, doing a book tour, and was having an incredible experience. Here I am in the world, the pandemic world, with so much stress on our shoulders, so much weight, trying to navigate. I mean, we're all in this really chaotic time together. And I was ready to take my story, which I'll share some more with you about as we unravel this. But here I was out in the world, and I loved when Aeriol shared this concept with me, because I was like, wow, this is the time for each one of us in our uniqueness and our unique way to show up, to be out, even when it's scary and confusing as all get out, and hard, consistently hard, to be out in the world, listening, opening our hearts. And that's what this project means to me. And so I had the privilege of contributing a story, my chapter, to this incredible anthology. And I'd love to share a little bit about that and a little bit of the backstory with you, because it's so exciting to be a part of this bigger story of how we all awaken and how we connect right now in this world that is pretty wild and pretty disconnected, in all honesty. So I'm going to share a little bit of the backstory of Julia Harriet. And so basically, I'm a teacher by trade. That was my professional background, what I thought I would do pretty much throughout my adult life. I love teaching. I'm very passionate about working with learners and their families of all ages. And that was a good fit. But as many of us had a year of reckoning in 2020, my year of reckoning actually occurred in 2016. And I was chugging along, building my life. I have 2 children. I had a husband at the time. I was really growing and trying, and everything was there. But it was just one of those years when all parts of my being, down to the very core of my being, were tested. I went through a divorce. I lost my mom to cancer, all within a few months of each other. And those 2 things that happened, I believe that, those are common, crucially challenging experiences of loss that are universal to some degree, whether it's one or the other, or obviously we all lose people that we love no matter what. And boy, it was a 1-2 punch. One of the things that happened for me, and it was really the start of a grand awakening, was that I said to myself, what do I really want? I love teaching, but is this the right fit for what I want to be, who I am at this point in my life, and with my children, and with these changes? And you know what happened? I said, no, it's not what I really deeply desire. That's been there since I was a little girl, is that I want to learn how to build. And what's funny is if you know me, in generally, when I started building, I had 0 aptitude for it. So that means it was not intuitive. It was not something where I grabbed a hammer and I was like, yes. It was like, how do I do this? I don't care. I'm going to learn. And so I did. And so that was like the first moment where I did something outside of the box. I took a huge risk, which I think is a giant part of awakening into your inner leader, is you have to be willing, to take a well-calculated risk, but a risk. And that was it for me. And so I did. I found a mentor who was willing to bring me into the world of construction in the little community that I live in. And boy, it was a steep learning curve. But what I truly learned, after going through these intense initial moments was that, wow, I can learn. I can really learn with help and support, and that I deserve this. And so it was wonderful. I, through a series of events, actually became involved in building my own house, which was my ultimate dream. And as I started that project with this group that the contractor and our teammates, our co-builders began, we started building my house. And I can just viscerally feel it, where I had no idea how this was going to happen. And that I invite in your spirit to think beyond what you can conceive. It's so easy to feel limited, especially with kids in our adult worlds. It feels like, well, how in the world is this ever going to happen? And it took the risk and the belief in saying, yes, I deserve this. And I did. And I was able to start building my house. And the piece that to jump forward in bringing my book out into the world and sharing my story of going through loss, as well as being able to follow my dream and being challenged. I think, this is such a shared theme in our lives. It's like, I want to share my story with the world. I want to go out there because I want to support people, especially in these times, to find that even if it's a little seed of belief that they are worthy, that you are worthy of your dream life, of your dream being in this world. And it just takes that yes. And then your yes gets bigger. It's kind of like anything that you feed. It's like, I wake up this morning and my yes is starting to talk back to me. And as I took my story under construction that I wrote from this incredible year of my life, this truly being under construction year, where I was rebuilding from being demoed by different traumatic events that were thrown at me, it was this feeling of I can go to my true foundation in myself. Because being leveled, that's all that's left, is, especially if you have a concrete foundation, that's what it's left there on the ground. And sometimes you have to rebuild all the way from that base. And being out in the world is the story that I get to share in Awakened Leaders. Is what did I find out there? I found so much love. Now, my chapter specifically describes how I found love in a very unusual place and time. And it is really exciting. To give you a little teaser, basically, I headed on kind of a West Coast tour. And I was in a little mining city in Nevada called Virginia City. And I walked into a bar kind of after work time, and to a group of miners with long beards and beers in their hands. And one of them had an assault rifle t-shirt on, and they were all looking at me like, wow, what are you here for? And we engaged in the most beautiful, vulnerable conversation that taught me so much about compassion, about deep listening, and about beneath all of our appearances, all of our differences, the things where I could have politically, socially, spiritually felt disconnected as I walked into this room, I put those things down and I just came in with an open heart. And what I found was beautiful. And so I'm so excited to bring my chapter into this incredible collaboration, because these are all stories that will leave you thinking, wow, I could have, that person, that author, that mentor could have done something else. I could have turned around and ran, and I didn't. And I encourage each one of you, in a moment when you can disconnect, to really lean in and take 1 minute longer to really see who is there in front of you, and to see what might be the thing that connects you. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much. And thank you, Aeriol. I appreciate this opportunity dearly.
Oh, bravo, Julia. Bravo. Your enthusiasm lights up the planet. I swear. I mean, you are filled with such joy and enthusiasm. I love it. And I am not the only person who thinks so. Kathleen Michaels Brader says, so happy to see your beautiful face, Julia. You are beaming brightly. Now, I didn't want to put that up on the screen while you were talking because I didn't want to derail you, but our other authors from the project are watching and listening and leaning in. In fact, I'm super excited because Laura Schoolcraft was even watching the broadcast today. We appreciate that. Sometimes it takes a while for Laura to get on Facebook or on all the social media, so it's awesome that she's with us here. Laura, we appreciate you so much. And you're right, Julia is doing incredible. Her story is amazing. Can you believe? And when she said minors, she didn't mean young people. She was talking about some gnarly people, right? Here we have April. Nice to hear from you. Thank you so much for leaning in. It is super inspiring to hear Julia. She really is amazing. I mean, not only her story, but her vivacious energy. Thank you so much, April, for connecting with us and for encouraging her. And of course, Cathlene just has to get another one in there. You did a great job, and I tend to agree with her here. You've done really a great job, Julia. What did you think, Holly? What did you think?
I can really relate to the relating to unlikely companions coming across country into a different culture, so from the Northwest to the South. So I can really relate to that. I can't wait to read your chapter, Julia.
Thank you.
Yeah, Julia's she is like a fairy badass, right? She's like a fairy badass with a tool belt. We love Julia, right? It's wonderful. So thank you so much, Holly and Julia. We just are sending you so much love. Anna Brooke, what did you think? I just see a love connection between Anna Brooke and Julia. I keep trying to get you guys together to do some writing together.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's such a pleasure to hear you speak, Julia, and I'm really, the part of me is still chewing on just like what a powerful metaphor it is to rebuild and to, everything from laying a new foundation to the finishing touches, and not just knowing how to do that, but actively engaging in the learning process, which I feel is one of the bravest things any human being can do. So again, I'm going to echo what Holly said. I'm really looking forward to reading your chapter. It just sounds really well done for narrowing that into 10 minutes. It sounds vast and extraordinary.
Well, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Our time is so limited here. I know. I just want to hang out with everybody and really find out more. Of course, I've read all the chapters as the compiler of the book, and I can really say that they're just absolutely amazing. We've had little tidbits of everybody's, and some of the things have been shared. Looks like I have another comment here. Who is up there? Oh my goodness, Beth Proudfoot is on the line as well. Love the idea of the choice to not run away. Yes, do not run. It's like if a bear is chasing you, aren't you supposed to stay there and not run? It kind of feels like that sometimes. But thank you, Beth, for leaning in and for leaving that comment for us. It's so nice to have everybody together with us. I want you all to remember, before we move on to the next speaker, that we are going to be launching our book on April 20th, and for 24 hours only, you can get that book with all 15 of our authors for only $1.99. I just don't know where you can get all that wisdom packed into one place, and The stories are captivating, y'all. It's not just tips and techniques, although there is some of that, but these are really heartfelt stories. And I think that is what makes our book so beautiful and so worthwhile to lean into. In fact, let me see, can I do this from here? Oh yeah, I wanted to share with you guys some of the reviews that we have been getting from some of the preview copies that I've been sprinkling out into the universe. Amy Riley, now this is a BFD review, you guys. Amy Riley is a wonderful keynote speaker from The Courage of a Leader. She's an international best-selling author, consultant, and coach. And she says, with a variety of authors openly telling their personal experiences and generously sharing the tactics and practices that serve them, readers will no doubt find circumstances to which they can relate and guidance that will help them find peace, love themselves, and powerfully leave their special mark on our world. Wow, what an amazing review. Thank you, Amy, and thank you, everyone, for putting your heads together to compile this amazing work. Okay, it's time for our next speaker. Are you excited? I sure am. All right, so here we go. Next up, I'm going to put everybody away. Thank you so much, Julia. We're going to put you backstage for just a moment. Anna Brooke, beautiful Anna Brooke, I'm going to put you backstage just a moment. And I'd love to introduce to our listeners and our viewers the amazing Holly Chadwick. Well, Holly is like really amazing, as if like these people are really amazing. I was very impressed when I met Holly because she shared with me the independent movie that she produced. And as somebody with a film and TV background, I was extremely interested in that. And the first thing that I said to her about her program after I viewed it, I looked it up and bought it right away online. And she's all, "Oh wow, you went!" And I absolutely looked it up and went and purchased it because I think it's important to support artists. And the one thing, I mean, the storyline was captivating and her whole philosophy really shined through on this. But what I loved was I was like, you did such a beautiful job on the sound of that movie. It was just absolutely beautiful, and it really impressed me. And the reason I'm leading with this is because I happen to know that Holly's chapter has something to do with music and sound. And I will tell you that she's extremely talented in this area. I'm not going to give away anything else beyond that. I'm going to let Holly do it herself. There she goes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make myself scarce and let Holly Chadwick go ahead, take center stage for a few moments and tell us, why did you step forward at this time to be an awakened leader, and what can the readers expect to learn from your chapter?
Thank you, Aeriol. Hi, I'm Holly Chadwick, filmmaker, author, mental health advocate, and coach. I'm so proud to be in Aeriol's collaborative book, Awakend Leaders, Empowering Stories of Self-Healing, Triumph, and Transformation. Tonight, I'm going to reveal my book chapter title, read an excerpt from my chapter, give an example of the meaning via live on-the-spot musical performance, and let you know how to find out more about me and my mission. First off, what's my mission? It's to match people's stories with cutting-edge mental health education. I do this through my business, StoryGuide.ai. StoryGuide is a HIPAA-compliant educational platform powered by Ruby, a virtual mental health assistant. You tell your story to Ruby and are matched to curated content. Now, this platform isn't for people in crisis, but more as a preventative education. It's help for support people and families with a loved one dealing with mental health. Mental health is for everyone, and I see stigma as the #1 issue regarding mental health, and our education at StoryGuide is designed to bust the stigma. To provide this platform to the masses, we'll be doing a seed round of funding soon. In the meantime, me and the practitioners associated with Story Guide are offering coaching. One of the practitioners is Dr. Beth. If you remember back, Dr. Beth was on week 1 of these talks as America's teenologist and is in this collaborative book. She has a
Uh-oh, it looks like we might have a little bit of a technical difficulty. I'm going to try to put Holly back in the stream. She is rocking it, so let me just see if I can get her connected back in here. Holly, are you with us? Holly's amazing.
Did I lose
you're
you?
like Holly. It only proves the point that you are the technical goddess, that you were able to get back on our live stream so quickly, Holly.
I'm not sure where I left off, but
oh, you're absolutely fine. Don't worry about your time.
About Dr. Beth, so
absolutely, I'm gonna butt out, and if we need me back, I'll come
okay.
Button back in.
Thanks,
Take it
Aeriol.
over, Holly. No problem. Thank you so much for being flexible.
So I was telling you about Dr. Beth, and she's one of our practitioners at Story Guide. She's, if you remember back to week 1 of these talks, she was America's teenologist and is in the collaborative book. And she has a program that helps people own their story. And by collaborating with Story Guide, we help you own your story that works best for you so you can learn to listen to your own inner guidance system and lead a life on purpose. Find out more info at storyguide.ai. Now back to the book, Awakend Leaders. Now, what's my book chapter title? It's Music in My Head. To me, the music in my head has jump-started and become my inner guidance system. I believe we all have one, whether music or a voice in our head or a feeling or just a knowing. We just have to be quiet enough and slow down enough to tune in. In some ways, the pandemic has allowed some of us to do this, and sometimes the shock of listening to this voice puts us in crisis. We think we're crazy. I know I did when this happened to me almost 20 years ago. In fact, I was put in a straitjacket for hearing music in my head. This chapter is my story of self-healing, triumph, and transformation from that experience. And I feel like my experience was a sort of boot camp for what we're collectively going through now. I'm going to read you an excerpt of my experience in my chapter. So here's the beginning of my chapter. Can you hear the music in your head? I hear music in my head, and I can't think of a time when it wasn't there. There was a time I refused to listen, and it came crashing through in a time of crisis. Almost 20 years ago, I became a caregiver of my ill grandparents for a period of time. They had raised me from a baby, and I got to care for them for their last years on earth. I numbed myself doing this work as I hated to see them in their declining conditions. Weeks after they died, the music in my head came crashing through as an auditory hallucination and jump-started my inner guidance system during a dangerous situation to get me to the safety of a hospital. Sound crazy? It can be. And being in a crazy situation is where we are collectively, as according to CNN, there is an 891% increase in calls to the mental health crisis hotline, and chaos and death ensues as a result of the 2020 pandemic. We're all in a state of crisis in varying degrees, if we admit it or not. A lot of us are numbing from their spiritual nature, like I did. And according to Aeriol Ascher, this book's coordinator, it's her observation as a healing practitioner that if someone cuts themselves off to their spiritual nature so they cannot trust or access their own intuition or inner knowingness, they often suffer from anxiety or depression. Likewise, suffering, unprocessed emotions will always eventually show up in the physical body as some sort of condition of disease. I see the pandemic is its precursor to even greater disease and anguish, but there is hope. And find out how there is hope by reading the rest of my chapter in the book. This book chapter is a precursor to a larger work of mine. This book chapter is a precursor, and my memoir is the same name, Music in My Head, a guide for jumpstarting your inner guidance system for mental health. This book is about following the music in my head, what I call the baseline of my inner guidance system while living aboard a boat in the Pacific Northwest and snowbirding to Arizona, and then moving across country while training an artificial intelligent mental health virtual assistant ready to provide support in the traumatic aftermath of COVID-19. From meeting cutting edge mental health practitioners, I share how you can avoid a trip to the loony bin in a post-pandemic world and jumpstart your own inner guidance system. If you read my chapter in Aeriol's book, Awakend Leaders, and are interested in my memoir and learning how to jumpstart your own inner guidance system for mental health, and want to receive a free sample chapter from the larger work, Music in My Head, sign up for my mailing list to know when my book comes out at storyguide.org/musicinmyhead. That's storyguide.org/musicinmyhead. I'm going to leave you with an example of the music in my head. And here's a little tune in my head that's been rolling around lately. was wondering how it was going to end. I think it's a time limit. Thank you, Aeriol.
Oh, Holly, you're just beautiful. The emotion just comes so close to the surface just when you lay your hands on the keyboard. Seriously, it just brings the emotion right up. And I hope that you saw some of the comments. I want to put a couple of them up here before we bring the other authors on, because I really want to make sure that you soak this in. Here, let me... I don't like you being so tiny next to my head right there. We have all kinds of, they really loved you. What a rock star is Holly. True alchemist in action.
Yay, Susan.
Yay, Susan. And Laura Schoolcraft totally got chills when you said you were put in a straitjacket for hearing the music in your head. That's right, Laura. Wait till you read the whole chapter. It is absolutely... It's pretty palpable. It's really amazing. I can't wait to read your chapter on the connection of music to your higher self. Very good. Thanks for the beautiful energy that I felt in the music today. So lovely. Thank you, Laura, so much for contributing those comments to give Holly that feedback. And April, great recovery when you came back online. You are an amazing tech goddess, right? Can hardly wait to find out more about your story. And Susan comes back again to say, such exquisite music in your head, Holly. Thanks, really Susan. Do appreciate it. We really want to keep that music in your head coming. We want it. Do not stifle it. Do not make it go away. We love it. What did you think, ladies? Am I right or am I right? Oh my God, right? Right? Yeah, I know. You know, I'm a musician and I've been playing the piano for years and I can improvise, but there's something about the touch and the intention of Holly's playing that it brings, like I said, it brings the emotion so close to the surface. Anyway, that's my opinion. What do you think, Anna Brooke?
Oh, I can still feel the ripples, just like, oh, it's just so beautiful. What a stunning way to, one, complete your talk, Holly, but also to like totally tease us into being like, so do you have any albums? Like, do you live stream? Do you like, I mean, that was just heavenly. I felt like I was watching a movie out of the blue. It was just incredible.
I can answer that. Aeriol mentioned I have my series on Amazon. It's called Sounds of Freedom. I worked on the soundtrack with a great composer out of California, and I created a compilation album called Julia, and it's available on iTunes. And it's based on the main character of the series, and it's songs I composed. So yeah, go check it out on iTunes. It's called Julia. It's by Eidetica Sound, my pen name for music. So yeah.
Wow.
Right. And name your series again and tell the audience where they can get it.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's called Sounds of Freedom. And if you have more information about it, go to soundsoffreedomtheseries.com.
Wow. Soundsoffreedomtheseries.com. It's really good, y'all. It's really good. I told you we've got amazing people in this project. Speaking of which, I have another one up my sleeve. So if you're out there still listening to our broadcast, or if you're watching the replay of this, don't go away because we have one more speaker. So thank you so much, Holly. I am going to send you backstage. Thank you, Julia. I'm going to send you backstage and bring front and center our amazing Anna Brooke. Anna, yes.
Hi, Aeriol.
Nice to see you. I met Anna through a networking event. I think that you got referred to me, and she came on my podcast and was so gracious. She sent me a copy of her book, which was amazing. I'm not going to spill anything about that right now. I want you to tell them about that because it ties into your chapter. And I just fell in love with everything that you're up to. The embodiment principles that you talk about as a healer, your interest in using publishing in order to get your voice out there, and your diligence in working in your writing, and just making darn right pretty words Anna Brooke.
Oh, shucks. Thanks,
Aw,
Ariel.
geez. Aw, geez. I just love Anna Brooke. Okay, so please don't forget to mention all of the things. I'm going to let you share during your time, and then we're going to all come back and beam at you. All right, my dear? So take it away.
Thank you so much. A huge thank you, number one, to you, Ariel, and to my fellow authors who are both on the call tonight, watching the live stream, and who are out there in the world. It's just such a pleasure and an honor to be a part of this very cool community. So my name is Anna Brooke. I am an interdisciplinary healing arts practitioner. I am author of the award-winning book, Stripped Down: How Burlesque Led Me Home. I am a speaker, I am a dancer, and I am a huge fan of this wild, woolly journey that we call life. My chapter in the book is called The Power of Leading with Self-Love. And so for the talk tonight, I'm going to be touching on some stuff that I do talk about in my chapter, but my intention is to really ground our time together with the only thing that any of us can control, which is really our own relationship to ourselves. When we make the choice to radically love ourselves, no matter what happens, exceptional and incredible new possibility can surface. And this is what I really want to be holding for us moving forward, period. I personally believe that each of us hold essential, exceptional pieces to this wild puzzle that we as humanity are navigating right now. And I wonder what can happen when we choose kindness for ourselves. What happens instead of being hard on ourselves? We instead give ourselves permission to rise up exactly as we are, which is enough, to rise up to the challenges that life is bringing us with increased resilience, with a more practiced reflex of self-kindness and resource to nourish ourselves, no matter how rough the journey. Because, hey, the journey can get rough sometimes. I don't mean to laugh, but it's true. Gotta have a sense of humor, right? So I want to go ahead and take a moment here and invite you to take a moment to go ahead and just scan what's alive for you right now. Any challenges that you are navigating right now, any hot topics or issues that you are experiencing, they're really kind of up and in front of you. Take a moment and just notice what rises up to the front of your mind. And I invite you to, whatever situation, relationship, whatever it is, go ahead and just hold it there. You don't have to do anything apart from just watch it. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. What would happen if in this situation or relationship that you are holding in your mind's eye right now, what would happen if you made the choice to love yourself first? What would happen? What would change if you gave your inner critic a permanent vacation? What would that look like? I want to share with you a quote by Albert Einstein that has been repeated back to me more times than I can count, but I feel that it is served well here in this context, which is, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So in the spirit of creating new thinking for new possibilities in our lives, I'm going to ask you another couple of questions. First and foremost, what would it look like if you made peace with your own power? And two, what would shift if you made the choice to lift yourself up instead of putting yourself down? I am the firstborn daughter of my family, which naturally makes me right all the time. I'm joking, especially for those of you who have older sisters. I promise you I'm joking. But what I'm trying to say is I had an innate sense of leadership from the word go. I was very outgoing, but I was also pretty shy. And by watching all of the adults around me, I learned to be very, very hard on myself. I had a deep need to be perfect that came from the belief that I was not enough and never could be, because the standards felt impossible. My loudness, my awkward imperfections were met frequently with criticism, mockery, and judgment that they cut me to my core. Anybody out there, I know you know what it's like if you have been through this. When I was called bossy, it felt like I was being kicked in the gut. And after this continued for quite some time, I learned that I was safer if I didn't challenge the taunts. And so I stopped pushing back. And I developed terrible anxiety and very badly dented self-confidence. And whatever seeds of resilience that could have been cultivated in that time were not. What I'm trying to say with this is there are some emotional scars that we carry with us for a lifetime. And although we may have built ourselves up a new foundation and gotten lots of cool new tools to dance with it, to learn with it, to work with it, we still need to tend to ourselves with love. We're human after all. So what I'd like to do, and this is what I talk about in my chapter, but what I'd like to do is offer you 3 very simple tips. I talk about this in the book. That are going to help you begin to practice making choices from a place of self-love and self-ownership. So, Aeriol, if you could cue the slides, please. Number 1, I am still learning. Please practice saying this when you are embarked on a learning curve, no matter how steep or flat it may be. Especially for those of you out there who are perfectionists. I like to call myself a recovering perfectionist. You may identify with this, but when I was younger, I held myself to such high standards that anything other than perfect was unacceptable. And I shut myself down constantly. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was constantly carrying so much anxiety in my body because I didn't realize I was on this nonstop learning curve called life. And when I learned this phrase, I am still learning, I started repeating it. And instead of mentally beating myself up, I found there's this little voice piping up and saying, oh, wow, I get to remind myself that no matter what I'm navigating, oftentimes, especially if it's the first time I'm doing something or I'm doing something brand new, if I fail, I know that I'm learning. Like, how many times did you get a conjugated verb wrong in Spanish class? I mean, I never even took Spanish, so I would have gotten it wrong all the time. But again, to remind ourselves that we are still learning, it shifts into what we get to focus on what we are experiencing as opposed to what we are not. This is a fundamental, cool, self-loving cue to give to ourselves because we are here to learn. We're here to practice. So please, I encourage you to walk with this if your inner critic is, just cracking that very boring whip, I'm going to say. So my second one, Aeriol, if you could please, the second one is learn to sit with discomfort. Now, I'm not talking about physical discomfort. What I'm talking about are feelings that don't feel great, like shame, remorse, and some of the feelings that can come along when we begin to take responsibility for our actions, especially if something we have done has caused harm or disruption, and it was not intended as such, or it was coming from a place of us that maybe just wasn't that well informed. The trick with this is that you learn to sit with discomfort by doing exactly that. Instead of resisting the hard or uncomfortable feelings, I want to encourage you to begin to let them in and simply sit with them. Let yourself begin to become familiar with their sensations in your body, the textures they hold, the weight they carry. So the next time that they arise in you, oh human being who has emotions all the time, maybe they feel less threatening and the passage through them gets to feel more and more familiar. And so my third and final tip, Aeriol, if you could please, is to practice self-care wherever and whenever you can. Now, I want to make a really important point here, which is there is a difference between self-care and self-soothing. There is a lot of confusion about those two. And I want to be really clear, and I'm not going to go on at great length about this, but self-soothing is a temporary measure. Think about taking a bath. You've had a stressful day. Maybe you want to have a glass of wine. Maybe you want to eat some chocolate, something to temporarily numb out, binge watch, your favorite show online. These are temporary fixes. They temporarily soothe and calm to help settle the nervous system, whereas self-care are conscious efforts toward creating deeper possibility and context for your own healing. So examples of self-care include taking care of yourself, getting mental health support. Holly spoke about this beautifully. Drinking water, how novel, resting, and making healthy boundaries for yourself because you deserve to receive your own self-respect and your own self-love. I could go on and on and on, but I am going to wrap it up here. And I want to finish up with saying when we choose to lead with self-love, we give ourselves a profound opportunity to start to affect powerful new changes in our own lives, in the lives of our families, in the lives of our communities, and just rippling out from there. And so I'm going to sign off with a dare. I dare you to lead with self-love. I dare you to set a new example for future generations and to face the challenges that arise in your life with deep belonging to exceptional, magical you. Once again, I want to thank Aeriol and my fellow co-authors. It is such a thrill and an honor to be a part of this. I'm so excited to read it, and I hope you enjoy what I have written as well. So thank you all so much, and hey, be good to you. You deserve it.
Oh, you are awesome. We loved it. Holly's giving you big kudos, big kudos.
Guys.
Ah, very good. We love it. We love it. Hang on one second. Let me get this little thing off your head there. There we go. I would love to show you some of the comments that are coming through. I wanted to hold them till the end because I didn't want to, before you even started talking, and this is noteworthy here, before you even started talking, Cathlene Michaels-Brader said, wow, you're a goddess, which I love because she just looked at your beautiful eyes and your beautiful soul and what you have to share. Laura Schoolcraft seconds that. Nothing more important than developing that self-love consciousness. Leading with self-love is spot on.
Amen, Laura.
Cathlene, Matthew just wanted to get in there, so Cathlene says she's talking for Matthew and her. They can't wait. Both of them can't wait. Hello, you guys. We can't wait for you to read it either. And Susan, thanks. You're one of our greatest fans here. We love it. I love the idea of sending the inner critic on a long vacation. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Beautiful pearls of wisdom that you offer us. Thank you so much. Laura Schoolcraft again says, beautiful job. So enjoyed leading with self-love. Thank you for sharing your vulnerability with the struggles of your upbringing and the new truths. Yes, and April Shoemaker, one of our other authors, also echoes that. Very powerful. Thanks. Well, I mean, I knew that that Anna was an amazing speaker, and I knew that she was an amazing author because I had the good fortune of reading her first book. Oh, look, here's something from Matthew. I just have to chime in. You guys are real quick on. Matthew says, I want to say something too, right? Because Cathlene is logged in. Matthew, we love you too. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for chiming in. She is amazing. There are just such exquisite people in this book compilation, and I think you can see by some of the authors and some of our other audience members who are chiming in here, they're just blown away by the synthesis and the healing energy and the caring energy and the intention behind everything that everyone is doing here. So it's really, really powerful. Thank you to our listeners for all that feedback. I really appreciate it. Let's check in with our other panelists here. Julia, what did you think of Anna's talk?
I want to accept the dare. I was like, yes, dare me. I'm in because this has been a big part of my 2022 is consistency. And I think that pairs so well with what you were sharing, Anna, and it was very inspiring, and you're a beautiful speaker. I was like, hell yeah, I want you for president. I'm like, so that's my feedback. I'm ready to vote for you, and pretty much
Anna Brooke for president.
Crazy dares, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it.
I am flattered. Thank you.
Yes. Really take that in, Anna, because you are such a powerful speaker, and you have such a beautiful way with words and a beautiful presence. So really take that in. Holly, what do you think? Is Anna on the list for one of your movies?
I'll vote for Anna. Yeah, and yeah, I was just thinking we should collaborate, Anna. I've got to bring you into Story Guide. That would be fun.
With
Yeah,
pleasure, with pleasure.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm really all about self-care because that's where it starts. You got to get ahead of it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fantastic. So remember, everybody, if you found Anna fascinating and Julia irresistible and Holly cute as a button, you're going to want to... I ran out of things to say there. Sorry, Holly. Cute as a button is good. Save the date. Our book, Awakened Leaders, Empowering Stories of Self-Healing, Triumph, and Transformation, will be out and available to you on the Amazon platform. And we're hoping that we go global with this. We want to be global awakened leaders. So make sure that you lean into our book on the 20th of April, and make sure that you share it and share it and share it and share it and share it again, because we really would like everyone to benefit from the wisdom and the knowledge of our awakened leaders. I wanted to share a couple other reviews that I've gotten. Here's the one from Amy. I just read that one. Here's another one that you're going to love, you guys. Now, this is from Linda Lenore, who is a feng shui master, award-winning speaker, and author of The Gift of the Red Envelope. Plus, she is one of the authors of my recent book compilation, Empowered Self-Care, Healing Body, Mind, and Soul for a Better World. She does an amazing job in her chapter in that book. She's just an amazing woman. She's studied all over the world. And I love what she writes here. You'll glean tidbits in the heartfelt stories as these leaders guide you through the tunnel, lighting your way to a brighter world that awaits you. Now, thank you, Linda, so much for sharing that review. And I so agree. I have told the Awakened Leaders many times that I feel like they are the way showers. I can kind of see everybody with their little lanterns walking everybody out. But I just love that imagery and that metaphor. And I have one more for you today from Heather Larkin, KC Holistic Healing. She's over in Kansas City, also one of the authors of the Empowered Self-Care book. I love what she has to say. Readers will enjoy a blend of compelling stories infused with tips and techniques that elevates the soul for optimal healing and joyous living. Wow! That sounds like a pretty good book, you guys. I don't know about you, but I'm anxious to get this out into our public and to get this in the hands of the world, essentially, so that we can raise consciousness and touch whoever we're meant to touch and inspire whoever we're meant to inspire. What I love about the book is there's such personal stories. Like, everybody digs really deep to find that vulnerability. And I think that's where people are really going to be able to relate to you. And even if something doesn't jive, the vulnerability and honesty in this book is, it's really inspiring. And I want to say heartwarming. It's just, it's very touching. Anyway, I'll tell you what, ladies, let's go around the room and leave our audience with one more little delicious tidbit. Delicious tidbit. Let's see. Anybody want to go first? Nobody does. I double dog dare you, Julia, to give us Yeah, well, you said you wanted to be dared today, so let's put you on the spot.
I'm ready, like I said. All right. Thank you. You know, what's coming through in this moment is going back to that concept of the yes. You know, the saying yes to what you dream, what you desire, to your voice being in the world, even if you're not sure in this moment how. You know, follow the yes. It is like a lighthouse. And so having once lived at a lighthouse, I trust this. And I offer this to you to follow your yes.
I love that. From the woman who once lived in a lighthouse. Could you get, yeah, as if she wasn't interesting already, right? We want to know about that as well. How about you, Anna? Do you have any tidbits for us before we go today?
Just to keep on keeping on. You know, life's purpose is to reveal us to ourselves. So what if the stuff you're up against, which we all are in one way or another, what if each of them were invitations to claim new, deeper parts of ourselves that haven't yet to be claimed? I feel each of us are here, you know, whether it's on a mission or with a purpose or to play a role in this divine, wild, I like to imagine as a huge disco ball of possibility, but to ground and land in ourselves. I think it's the greatest thing that we can do for ourselves in a very generous and non-self-centered way. That's going to be my little tip.
Awesome. I love the disco ball analogy. Thank you very much. That'll work nicely. And last but not least, Holly, do you have a little tidbit to leave our audience with before we sign off for today?
Yeah, so to accept that yes, and to live a life on purpose, listen to the music in your head. And I'm listening to this right now.
Fantastic. She just busts out with a little allegro for us. So it's so fantastic, Holly.
As you do.
We absolutely love it. It doesn't get any better than that. I want to remind everyone to take a deep breath, to care for yourselves deeply, to mark your calendars for April 20th, 2022, and just take good care of yourselves. Like really, 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 I love what Anna said about self-care. So everybody, you know, take good care of yourself. That's all that really matters. Okay, I think that's it, you guys. I think we're going to call it a wrap here and now. If anybody wants to find out more, stay in social media to keep abreast of everything that's been going on. Oh, one last comment. Beautiful job, Aeriol. Oh, of course, the last comment has to be for me. Thank you so much, Laura. We appreciate that. I'm so excited about the other authors. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this. You betcha, Laura. You're a wonderful contribution, and we can't wait to hear you speak next week. Okay, everybody, this is Aeriol Ascher, Anna Brooke, Julia Harriet, and Holly Chadwick signing off for today. Thank you so much, everybody.